I came across this hashtag and I just thought it was awesome. Right up my alley. I have enjoyed the videos and it was a lot of fun. Right away, I knew that I wanted to do this as well. So the hashtag for this is Tarot Community Build. And this is in response to Crescent Dreams Tarot. And I'm looking to the side because I'm referencing so that I don't forget anything. So let's get started. Number 1, name, pronouns, channel name. So my name is Elizabeth and my pronouns are she, her. My channel name is The More Intuitive Me. And number 2, what got me into tarot? So that is a great question. I felt drawn to tarot. I'd felt drawn to tarot for a really long time. This was 2020, and I just felt like I don't even know how it happened. I just found myself like looking at the deck in Amazon and putting it in my cart and taking it out of the cart and putting it in the cart and taking it out of the cart. And this went on for at least 2 months before I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna leave it there and I'm just gonna get it. So that was my Christmas present to myself. And so I actually opened the deck probably just after New Year for the very first time. So that would be January 2021. And my first deck was the Rider-Waite-Smith, the Radiant Edition. Let's see. If you have a channel, why did you create it? So I originally created my channel because, believe it or not, both of my kids had channels. And I wanted to kind of keep an eye on what they were doing. At the time, my daughter had quite a large following. And I just wanted to kind of keep in touch. And then I used the channel to watch lots of content on TarotTube. And I don't know, one day I decided to try and film a video myself. And I'll have to say, before filming content, I thought to myself, I don't know how they could get online and talk for so long, like by themselves, in essence. Like, I just don't know how. And then once I started doing it, it felt so easy. It felt so easy to do. And I quickly discovered that I enjoyed it. But not only that, I really liked editing the videos after the fact. That was a lot of fun. It was learning something new and different, but it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed that. So number 3, what is your tarot aesthetic? So I don't know, maybe hug decks. I love those. I have a preference to softer decks. And what else? I would say artistic decks, or decks that I feel could be intuitive. So an example would be like here, the Shimmering Veil. This deck is, you know, one of those decks, and it's just very I don't know, different than anything else that I have. The art is amazing. It's very, very intuitive, and I really enjoy this deck. It's so, I don't know, it's different, and I like the art style. I tend to like, you know, well, my decks, they have to be colorful. I love colorful decks. and I really like that like watercolor look or effect. But this is the kind of deck that I would really enjoy. So this is like one example. Another one that I could think of off the top of my head that also falls into this like, oh, I love it. And if other decks came out like this, it doesn't matter if I already have similar decks in my collection, I would probably consider adding them. And this is the Kai Tarot Love. I don't know if that's Kai Tarot or K Tarot. Kai or K? Anyways, look at the sweet artwork here. It's just so, again, so unique. It's just beautiful. I feel like you could sit with these images and really tap on your intuition to kind of get the message that you need from them, and it's quite enjoyable. And I only got to work with this deck for a very short amount of time, so I'm looking forward to being able to sit with this one again and you know, spend more time with it. Just like, look at that card. That card is beautiful. That's the star. That is gorgeous. I love it. I love it. So this would be the style or the aesthetic that I like. I like color. I like softness. I like a softness in my decks. And that doesn't mean that all my decks are like lovey-dovey, because that's not true. I do have some darker decks, but these are kind of samples of what I gravitate towards. If I'm gonna have a hard time saying no to a deck, that's gonna be the style of deck that I have a hard time with. Let's see. What tarot system is your favorite and what do you want to learn? So I'm a Rider-Waite-Smith girl through and through. All of my decks are, I do have some that go a little bit different, but most are Rider-Waite-Smith. And I don't really have a lot of motivation right now to learn any other systems. I feel like learning this is a lot and it's enough for me right now. It makes me, it gives me what I need in this moment. Not to say that I don't have anything else, because like any other collector, I do. So this particular deck, this is Thoth inspired, the Sun and Moon tarot, and I have the little mini edition. And what I did with this deck, because I thought that I could read it like a Rider-Waite-Smith, look how tiny it is. First of all, I trimmed it. This is my first trimming, the first trimming I ever did, and I was just buck wild, like a proper savage. I went in with scissors and I was just like, wah! And I just did what I needed to do. But this deck, I always felt drawn to it, and a lot of the cards are very Rider-Waite-Smith, but they have a lot of Thoth imagery too. Like you can see the symbol right down here. And then of course this deck, the top of the card had the Thoth. I don't remember if it was a keyword or what was at the top of the deck, but I chopped all of that off. But there are certain cards in here that I can't read Rider-Waite style. Okay. This is the card that I was talking about. So this is the six, let me hold it like this, 6 of Swords. And you could see that's very different than what you'd be used to. But I have the little booklet, you know, with the deck, and it's really helpful. But, you know, this is a Thoth inspired deck that I read for the most part Rider-Waite style, and if I struggle with an image, then I just kind of refer to the guidebook. So that is the sun and moon. The other system that I tinkered with and then, you know, paused right away was Lenormand. Lenormand. This is my first Lenormand deck. Oop. I created this deck and it's so faded. Like you can barely even see the keywords at the top. So this one is the moon. It's number 32 and the keyword spotlight. And this has a positive connotation, I guess. And so since in these cards in the Lenormand system, you don't really need any imagery at all because it's not really intuitive reading. So this is how I practice for a very long time with my little homemade deck. And then I did pick up a book, you know, to learn, and that was really helpful. And then at that same time, I also decided to pick up a deck. And this is the only deck that I have because, again, I feel like there's not really a need. And this is Dreaming Way. The Dreaming Way, Lenormand. And I always, like, this deck was always so cool to me. Like, I love those card backs. They're awesome. And then this is, you know, and you can see I wrote the key word on the cards. But I love the imagery on this deck. And again, not that you can use it for reading, but I love the imagery. And yeah, I probably did this for, I don't know, a few months. And then I was like, all right, like, I can't, it's a lot. So I was like, let me just focus on one thing. I didn't get rid, actually, no, I had another Lenormand deck that I ended up rehoming and just keeping one because I felt like that was all I needed. And this is a great little deck. I love the imagery. And the booklet, again, is very, very helpful. If I wanted to do anything more than 3 cards or 5 cards or a full-blown, I don't even remember what it was called anymore, when you lay out all of the cards. What is that called? A tableau? Was it a tableau? Yes, the Grand Tableau. That's what it was called, the Grand Tableau. I did experiment with that spread once or twice, and it was interesting, definitely interesting. But this is a system that I may want to pick up again one day, but not right now. It would be too much for me. All right, top 3 favorite major arcana. So I do have my 3 cards, and 2 of them I got from, I don't know if you've ever used it, this book here, Tarot for Yourself. This has been such a great tool and resource. This is by Mary Greer. And when I got this, I did the exercises in the book. And that is how I discovered what some of my cards were. So let's see here. So if you've never done this exercise, I would highly recommend it because it's actually very, very interesting, right? So my personality and my soul card is the Hermit. So this card here is one that I tend to look at in every single tarot deck that I pick up. So this would be my number 1 card of choice. And you figure that out by doing the little formula with like your birthday. And then my my card is the Emperor, right? Because I'm Aries, and that would be this card here. That's my zodiac card. So I always, you know, this is a love-hate card for me, right? Because this part of me comes out so easily. And I feel like I have to constantly remind myself to connect with my feminine side. Because if not, this side takes over. The Emperor side takes over. So it's a love-hate, because there's a lot of things that I do well because of this, but there's a lot of things that I need help with because I forget to tune in, you know, to my intuition, to my softer side, to all of the things within. So this is my zodiac card. And then, I don't know, for some reason, every time I have readings, I am often referred to as the sun. So the sun card is very special to me in the deck, and I always look for this card. And you know, I don't gauge the whole tarot deck if I like the card or not, but it's a pretty important card for me. So those would be my top three cards. And then favorite suit is going to be the Wands, right? That's, again, the Aries in me. I think my cards are 2, 3, and 4. And I resonate with this so much because it's so much a part of who I am and how I behave. Explains so much. So this is my favorite suit. And core card that you consider your significator. So again, based on the exercises from the book, it kind of cemented what I thought for myself, which was the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, very special place in my heart for this card. Now, I don't read with significators, but whenever she comes up in a reading, I take special note of that because of how I feel about her and about this card and the meaning of this card. So that is the card that I would consider to be the significator. Let's see, cardstock. Is cardstock a big deal? Yes. Yes. Very rarely have I ever worked with a deck where the cardstock was just so awful that I just couldn't work with it. I think there's only one deck in my collection that fell into that category. For the most part, if I have a deck that I don't enjoy, I just learn to deal. So example of that would be this one here, the Phantom Wise. This is not my favorite cardstock. I really like linen cardstock. To name one of the, one of the styles that I really like. This kind of wants to pretend like it's linen, but it's not. I wish you could, like, it has this weird, do you hear that? I don't like that. So when I shuffle this deck, I don't like that. It sounds so much like vinyl. So it's not enough that I would like not work with this deck anymore. I still will. But that's my least favorite part of this deck is the cardstock, because it just sounds so weird. So weird. Cardstocks that I enjoy. Well, I do like linen. I don't mind rose petal. I like rose petal finish. It's a little persnickety to work with, but I don't mind it. But I think number one, my most favorite kind of, check out this bag. This bag is perfect for this deck. This is the Sassy Burrito. This is the Sassari Beetle Tarot. And I have a few decks that are very similar in cardstock to this, but this is what I love. I don't know if there's like a black core in this, but like, I love how this shuffles. I have a few decks that have a lovely, lovely, lovely shuffle. This is one of them. My, let's see, my Cosma Vision in a tin has that same lovely shuffle. My, there's a couple others. The Weird of Sarah Howard. Is it Weird or Word? I don't know what it is. The Weird of Sarah Howard or the Word of Sarah. That deck, it's a little oracle deck, has that same kind of shuffle. And also my, what's the name of that deck? The black and pink deck that I can't live without. My Oracle Feelings deck. It's not Lilifer, the same maker as Lilifer. I'll put it in the, I'll put it on the screen, but that has the same kind of cardstock, and I just love how it sounds when I shuffle it. So that for me is ideal. Again, I'll work with practically any cardstock. I tend to be very precious with my decks, and I'm not a wild shuffler. I'm always very careful. I do very little riffle shuffling. I usually just overhand shuffle. So when I work with a deck that has terrible cardstock and bends or kinks, even when I'm being so precious with it, that bothers me. And like I said, I've only had one deck so far that fell into that category, and it went into my you gotta go pile because I couldn't deal with it. So that is where I stand on cardstock. Let's see. Do you read for others? I have read for others. Not a lot of people know that I read tarot. And most of the people around me are not interested in the least. So that, again, that was one of the reasons why I ended up, doing the channel and going with it, because I didn't have anybody to talk to about tarot. And my kids, I felt like if I talked to them about one more deck or one more card pull or one more significant message that came through for me, they're gonna disown me. I just know it. So yeah, I struggled. And so I have read for some people, but very few. Most of the time I'm reading for myself. My kids really don't have an interest in tarot. It's really ironic, but most of their friends are into tarot. So when they come over, they're, oh my God, you have so many texts. But my two, yeah, they could care less. So I hardly ever read for other people, but I have. I've done some video readings, some in person, and some journaled. A little, not very many, but I've done it. I would like to do more at some point, but really I just read for myself. Let's see, number one deck you're excited to have come out this year. So I had taken a little bit of a break from tarot, and the same way that tarot came into my life in 2020, that's the same way that tarot called me back to it a few months ago. And so I am not in touch with what potential decks are out there. I know that before I kind of paused, there were a few decks that I had interest in, and even though I was starting to pull away from tarot, I went ahead and did pre-orders for some. And I want to say that before I left, that my highly anticipated deck was the Tarot of Echoes. I remember watching Anna Turian, her process when she was working, doing the oracle, and then working through the tarot deck. And I've always enjoyed her art. And I did have the I think it was the Oracle of Echoes. I had that, but that was very that was a hard deck for me. Very much in my style. Loved the colors and the watercolor, but I couldn't work with it for long periods of time. At most, I could pull one card out and I was done. So I ended up rehoming that deck. And now that I've returned, this deck is nowhere near. It won't be finished this year, but I did see that she is working on a new oracle deck that I am very, very much interested in, and I plan to follow the progress on her Instagram page. So that is the deck that I'm probably the most excited about at this time. And let's see, lightning round question. Ooh, coffee or tea? Coffee. Ooh, I don't even have to think about it. I love coffee. I think the only time I have tea is if I'm not feeling well. If I can't have coffee, then I have tea. But for the most part, I have coffee. I have coffee right here. Colors or monochrome? Well, if you've seen this video, then you already know the answer to that. Color. I love color. I think I only have one black and white deck, and it's that Phantom Wise. I do have some that are kind of muted tones, but for the most part, it's going to be a color deck. Cats or dogs? That's hard. I love animals. I love to observe them. I don't love living with animals. With that said, I do have 2 cats. And I will probably always have pets in the home. And this is because my kids, they just love them. So it's hard for me to choose between one or the other, but since cats are who we're sharing our home with right now, I'm gonna say cats. Flora or fauna? Well, in real life, both. In my tarot decks, I would say neither. I have a very hard time working with flower energy and with animal energy. It's something, it's not a system, but it is something that I have to work to learn more about in order to understand and incorporate into my tarot. So when I'm going for decks, rarely, I don't have any tarot decks that are animal decks. I think the only nature deck that I have is Naturescapes. That's probably the only tarot deck that I have that's like that. And maybe because it's photographic. If there's a deck that is primarily animal or nature, for the most part, I'm not going to have an easy time with it. I'm gonna have a difficult time. It's gonna become a learning deck, and right now I am just really wanting to focus on learning as much as I can about tarot. So not something that I want to take on at this point. And let's see, favorite time of day, that's gonna be mornings. I love mornings. They're so quiet, it's peaceful, kids are still asleep. Once I feed, the kitties, it's pretty much peace and quiet, me and my coffee, and that's for me, my favorite time, and the time when I do the most thinking, the most reflection, the time that I get the most work done in the day. I find that come 2-3 o'clock, I'm done. There's nothing left in me. I have nothing left to offer the world. So mornings is gonna be it. And favorite things beside tarot. Sorry, I had to take a break. The cranes decided to come out and put on a show for me. So we were talking about favorite things besides tarot. Well, I would say the thing that is quickly becoming a favorite for me is editing videos. I am really enjoying working in the editing software. I love when I pick up on a new skill or practice something or do something uniquely different. And that is a lot of fun for me. So definitely that editing photos has always been a passion of mine. Investing, personal finance, that's a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, and I spend a lot of time researching and learning and looking at my portfolios and trying to see how I can best rearrange things so that I can maximize my profits. Let's see, journaling. I love to journal. I journal. I actually have online journals and book journals, but I love them both. Makeup, skincare, something that I really like to spend a lot of time working on. Makeup and skincare are really, really cool because when you do these things, you see the physical result of the work that you're putting into it. So that part has been great. I recently went to the dermatologist and he literally said, like, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep it up, because I've seen a huge improvement in your skin. And that was just the best compliment ever. So those are things that I spend a lot of time in. Let's see, K-dramas. I love to watch K-dramas. My daughter and I do this together quite a bit. And, of course, I like some outdoorsy things, and I'm in Florida after all. So I do enjoy day hiking. I enjoy camping. I enjoy going to the beach. I enjoy cycling. I live right by a fitness trail, so it's very easy access. And so, yeah, those are some of the things that I enjoy, weather permitting, right? Because it's super, super hot here, super, super muggy, and, there's insects galore. So I take all of that, as long as it's, balanced. So, yeah. That is it. Those are the last of the lightning round questions. This was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I found this hashtag and that I was able to participate. Special thanks to Crescent Dreams Tarot.